Welcome back to NTheRealestWay Podcast by Marqes Smith, where we talk about so many topics in the realest way. On this podcast episode, I want to talk about the importance of creating your own environment and how allowing certain things to have an impact and control your thoughts and your feelings, they matter. And when we talk about these things, about people and circumstances outside of our control that bother us and anger us and upset us, and allowing them to dictate whether we're going to have a good day, we need to understand that that's a power over us and it's controlling you. There has been so many times, especially in the Army, where, to say I wasn't allowed to do the certain things that I would do in the outside world without repercussions. But through all that, it's a test of discipline and control and understanding that no matter how other people decide to act towards me, I decide what I will allow in my space, in my environment. Because your environment is your mind. Sometimes we can't get out of these physical environments like we want to. And that goes for family relationships, all kinds of relationships, work relationships. Sometimes you can't leave those environments. So something that you can do to help you is to control your environment. First off, by setting healthy boundaries between you and these other people. But understanding that, hey, when somebody decides to do something that is deemed disrespectful to you, and you've made it clear that that's something disrespectful, after that warning of a boundary, that's when you remove yourself. That's when you distance yourself. Do not allow other people to control how you're going to have a day. Don't allow those people to be like, at the snap of their finger, hey, I want Marquise to have a bad day, so let me go piss him off. No. Control your environment. Control what you will allow to have space in your mind, around you. Change your energy in what you allow yourself to have access to. Because if you're given love, if you're given joy, if these are the things that you're creating in your environment, those things will come in abundance, no matter if you believe it or not. Those people, anybody outside of you, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about within yourself. If you're giving yourself love, joy, patience, a healthy relationship, then that's what you're going to receive more of. Sometimes we find ourselves so eager to just pull from other people. We need people to validate us. We need people for their attention. We just need people. And humans, we do need... We're humans. We thrive in socializing and, all those things. But it's important to understand that what you're looking for is inside of you. And like this quote I seen today, you can't give something that is not inside of you, if that makes sense. Like, you can't give of something to somebody else. Like, you can't fully love not even fully, you can't even love somebody truly with pure intent without not having that within yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But the point in saying that is you need to have that security within yourself of a healthy environment. Because if you are chaotic, if everything inside of you is chaotic, everything outside will be that way too. Everything else, even if that is true, your mind can find a way to control it if it's in a way to where you're allowing what you want to allow to happen to you. There's been so many times when people wanted to just, they did have control over me, my emotions, how I felt. I at some point you get fed up. At some point, you get tired of it. You do. And that's when you'll decide to change. And until us as people decide to take that step, until us as people decide, hey, you having access to me, you being in my environment is not good for me. Once they decide to say no, goodbye, that's when you'll start seeing more and more positivity, more abundance of love and joy in your life. Because now you have a set of standards and values that a lot of people don't have. They don't have it. So now that you're filtering out these people, and also I've said to people all the time, I say it all the time, it's not that these healthy people that are creating these boundaries aren't having these people try to come into their life who want to hurt them. It's that they're seeing these people and they're stopping them at the door. They can't get in, aside from somebody else who has the same situation going on, but allowing them to open the door and letting those people inside. That's the difference. I see you, but you're not coming in. You're not coming into my house. You're not coming into my house. And also, there was this TikTok I seen a while ago, and it was talking about how the people who become so arrogant and so cocky and so full of in their ego, those were the people who, way before then, they were the ones who didn't feel that way at all. They were the ones who didn't have trust within themselves. Those are the people who were looking for validation with other people. And now it became a point to where now they know who they are, and that is unhealthy. So when doing all this stuff, with creating your own environment, it's important to understand what you want and what you want to allow in your space in a healthy way. In a healthy way. And I'm not trying to just, invalidate anything that anybody has experienced, but it's important to state the truth of how I feel. We have to put a step. We have to stand on what we want in our life. We have to, because if we don't, nobody else will. And you will continually find yourself around people who don't care about you. It doesn't matter what they say to you if what they said was the truth. Does that make sense? Like, they can say, oh yeah, I care about you, I want to be your friend, all this stuff, but say so many things to you that's not what a friend would do. So it's important to say, hey, this is what you're saying, and this is how you're acting. I don't want any part of it. If it's not love, if it's not joy, if it's not understanding between two people, there's no reason to even feed that energy. It's important to understand what deserves your time, because your time is important, your energy is important, and everybody should not have access to your energy. I promise you, I've been around people with good hearts, beautiful people, they love so pure. I crave it, and I aspire to be that kind of person more and more, and be around those people more and more. That is one thing that God has blessed me with experiencing. Real, good-hearted, loving people. And you'll find that eventually. But you have to be stern. You have to be concise and specific with what you want from God and everybody else. And that goes to my previous podcast episode, asking for exactly what you want. With creating a healthy environment, you have to ask for exactly what you want from God, from life, from people, from everything in regards to your environment. You have to. You have to. It all circles around. Every podcast episode I've mentioned, I've spoken about, it has impacted me in my life, my current life. That's why I'm so eager to speak about it. I have so much drive about it. It's important that we understand all these topics and understanding that everything that we're looking for in other people, it is in us. It's in us. Stop worrying about what this person's doing. Stop worrying about what that person's doing. Worry about what you're doing. Because even if that person is saying something about you, feeling a certain way about you, that has nothing to do with you. How that person feels about you has nothing to do with you and all to do with them. You know your intention. You know your heart. It's that simple. Stop trying to make people, everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to understand you. Create your environment and allow those people who understand you, who love you, to be around you. It's that simple. And I'm speaking so loudly about this to other people, but I'm reflecting it all into my life too. Because there were literally days ago where I was allowing people in my life who decided to choose disrespect over a conversation in a healthy way. Control your environment. Create your environment. It's all important. And that's what this podcast episode is all about. Trusting your instincts and giving it to God. Like I say at the end of every podcast episode, I give thanks to the highest, to the utmost power, God. I'm thankful for my podcast listeners. I'm thankful for my friends and my family. I appreciate everybody. I really do. This is NTheRealestWay Podcast. Out.